So sometimes, even if we know something, we still need to hear it from somebody else, true or false. At least that's true for me. Why is that? Isn't that funny? Like, I'm sure, a lot of my clients, in fact, I'm sure all of my clients know some of the stuff I say to them. They know it already, right? But they need a reminder sometimes. Or maybe when I say they can really hear it, even though they read it somewhere else or they already thought it. Right? Well, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I think sometimes my coach keeps reminding me what I express to him as my own truth, as my knowing, and somehow I need him to remind me, right? So there's many different ways we need people to help us out, and it cannot just happen in our head. And I think one of the reasons why it cannot happen just in our head is because, um, well, first of all, we have some thinking habits, and sometimes we go on a loop on that. A lot of us have I'm not good enough, or I'll never make it, or, things like that. And we need somebody to sort of, that can hear it and then reflect it back, or say, wow, that doesn't make any sense, right? But when we know things, like um, let's say that you have to eat a nutritious meal, 3 times a day. And you keep telling yourself that and you try to remember, but it's the accountability buddy, or it's somebody who really helps you stick to that inspires you, gives you the accountability to make it happen. We are social beings, we there's resonance that happens. There is something that happens when we connect to another person. And it can happen connecting online. That's a way people encourage each other online. It can happen with somebody who is on the same journey, like a buddy, like an accountability buddy, somebody that's doing it with you, and so you inspire each other by talking over Zoom or in person and so forth. But it can happen with a teacher. If you like every religion, you learn it, and then every, whatever, once a week, you go to hear it again. Why? Because it's the reinforcement, it's the reminder, it's the intentionality, right? We can have that with a teacher, that even though we know the thing, they know it a little bit more, or they can remind us of what we know, right? Or can offer a different perspective, but still on the same topic. There's many different ways, right? In the way I work, it is an opening up space for you to get in touch with with what you already know. But just like my coach, reminds me. So I remind my clients sometimes, right? But the magic happens in that conversation. It's quite trippy. I have to tell you, when I experienced coaching for the first time, it was a revelation to me. It was, I don't even remember the coach. I don't even remember I remember him actually. I remember his face, but I don't know his name. And it was so impactful. It was one conversation. And I was stuck on something in the past. I was living in the present. I have so much fear of something from the past happening again. And I would say it in my speech all the time. And nobody ever really reflected it back to me. And I'm sure I told all my friends. But this guy, I was talking to him and he heard it. And then he reflected it back to me. And it took me a moment. He had to repeat it 2 or 3 times. I was so unaware that's what I was saying, but that's what I was saying. And when he repeated it to me and said, do you really mean this? Do you realize this is the present? You're not dealing with this stuff in the past. It was a revelation. Right there, my reality shifted. I freed myself in that moment of whatever was holding me back in that situation. So there's something powerful when we hear it from somebody else that we can't just do on our own, right? That's the beauty of being a human being. That's the beauty of, you know, knowing other human beings. I feel like sometimes we forget, that's the beauty, that we're all in this together and we can all help each other. So I'm gonna leave you with that, because don't forget that even if you know it already, it's always good to hear it from somebody else as well, at least once in a while.